Hello there, this is DBT and these are the rooms. And alright, let's continue talking about Asphalt Legends. And I say talking because today we're going to have a look at the special hunt for the car on the screen right now, which is of course the Ultima RS. That's right, the special hunt has just started, which means you have an opportunity to get this car at gold for free if you grind it hard enough. But before I get into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel, because doing these things tells YouTube this is worth recommending to more people, and in that way I can continue making this content for you. So go ahead, like and subscribe for some more Asphalt Legends right here. Now this video will be divided into a bunch of little topics related to the special hunt, so if you want to jump to a particular topic, just go into the appropriate chapter. But for now, let's start with the car itself. The Ultima RS, being a Class S car, 6 stars, maximum rank of 4644. In fact, just a couple of days ago, I made a video driving this car in MP2 since I already have it at gold, but by now there's a free try so you can also check it out yourself, drive it and get to experience it. But it's a very fun car. I'll leave the link in the top right if you want to watch that video. I recommend you to do so because hey, I got some W, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, here's the stats of the car. Just in general, it's a mid-class S, but even then, it's a very fun one to drive. It's not insanely fast, but at the very least, it goes over the 400 kilometers an hour mark. For the acceleration, is nothing to write home about, but it's not bad. Handling it's on the good side, and nitro for a Class S car, it's also good. Now, the thing about this car is that it's incredibly agile. It does floaties, it does all sorts of acrobatics. So it's a very fun car to drive. So yep, you should definitely want to have this car in your garage, especially if you're lacking on Class S cars and, you know, at 6 stars and gold. Yeah, why not? Now, for a quick explanation of what a special hunt is, in general, you can imagine it as a regular car hunt that you would find normally in daily events, except this one is in special events. And this is gonna be for a car. Generally, it tends to be for a key car, which is the case for the Ultima RS. So in a way, you could compare it against key hunts. But the thing about this hunt is that it requires you to not only max out the car before you can get, or you know, max star before you can get the key, it really asks you to gold it. Now, as a quick overview, in each one of these stages, it's where you're gonna be able to get blueprints in order to advance to the next stage. The idea is that, well, being a key car, you start 1 star, so you're gonna be wanting to do this race a bunch of times, getting these packs, and eventually getting enough drops of the blueprints so that you get it to the 2nd star, in which case you now will have access to the 2nd stage. So on and so forth, right? You go starring it up, moving throughout these stages, and eventually get to the last proper stage where you're gonna be hunting not for blueprints, but for epics. And like I just mentioned, this is because this special, or rather this type of hunt, the special hunts, does require you to have the car at gold. If we look at the very last stage, over here you will see that you can get the key for the car. But what does it require you to do? Well, do some perfect runs, which doesn't sound difficult, except that if you notice, it's gonna ask you, well, over here because I already have the car at gold, but it will ask you for the car to be precisely at the gold rank. So it's not only good enough for you to get all of the blueprints to 6 stars, you also need to grind for all of the epics and apply every single bit in order to have the car at gold, and only then you will have access to race for the key. So it is a very grindy type of event, but in reality, this event, again, if you grind it hard enough, you're gonna be able to get everything that you need. But for now, let's try to look at the stages in a different way because there's something to consider about them. Here on screen, I'm gonna be doing kind of like the breakdown of each one of the stages in a very simple way. You can see that up there already says the stage, blueprints, drop rate, and credits, because these are some very important pieces of information when it comes to this thing. So like I mentioned, you already have access to the first stage, and for that one, you're gonna need a total of 40 where's my mouse? Well, you cannot really see it, but anyway, you need 40 blueprints in order to get the car to the 2nd star. So you're going to be grinding stage 1 until you get 40 blueprints in total. Now you can see that on the drop rate, I just put a plus sign. This is to indicate that there is a drop rate. I'm not going to go into percentages just now, that's a little bit later, but for now, let's just leave it at it has this amount of drop rate, which is just there. And when you see over here where it says credits, it means how many credits you can get per each one of these packs. You will see it on the background. These packs can contain, like I mentioned, the blueprints, or they can also contain credits. So those are the ones that I'm mentioning over here, 2,000 credits or 4,000 credits. So that is when it comes to the first stage. I think that's pretty clear, but let's move into the second one so that you can see where I'm going with this, because it is a bit peculiar. In stage 2, you're gonna need a total of 45 additional blueprints to get the car to the next start. Now you can see over there that in the drop rate I put 2 plus signs. That is not to say that the drop rate is twice as good as the first stage. It's just to indicate that the drop rate does improve a bit. Again, it's not double, it's just a little bit better. And you can see that the credits is gonna be either 3,000 or 5,000. You can already start getting more credits even if you don't necessarily get the blueprints in the packs. When it comes to stage 3, in this one there's a big jump in the blueprints. Now you're gonna need an additional 60 blueprints to start it up further. The drop rate once again increases compared to the previous one, and the credits that you're gonna be getting are going to be 3,000 or 6,000. I think you can see the pattern now that you get more credits per stage. Now let's move to the fourth stage over here, and another big jump in the blueprints. You're gonna need an additional 70 blueprints in order to get the car started up. Once again, the drop rate has improved. So even though you're needing more and more blueprints, each one of these stages has a slightly higher drop rate, allowing you to get blueprints, well, at a faster rate, I suppose. But again, you need more blueprints, so it kind of makes up for it. And then when it comes to the credits, you can see another jump from, it's now gonna be 4,000 or 8,000 credits per pack where you get credits. Now, stage 5 is the oh so fun stage. Now, first, don't be scared by that crazy amount of 85 blueprints. Yes, it's a ton of blueprints that it's gonna require for you to get it to the last star. But as you can see over here, I put that the drop rate is way higher. Now, this is twofold, because not only does the drop rate actually increase when you get to that stage, but there's also something peculiar about this stage, where you could only get one single blueprint per drop. Now you can get actually 2 blueprints. So the drop rate is higher, and you get twice as many blueprints as you did before. So that's what makes this particular stage so very good. Because yeah, you do have to grind for a lot of blueprints, but the grind is actually not that bad because you get much better drop rate and you get twice as many blueprints per drop. Now you can see that the credits that you gain is going to be either 5,000 or 10,000. So that's already a lot of credits that you can get each time that you get a credit drop on those packs. And when it comes to the last stage, stage 6, you're gonna need 16 epics. Now, here's not for blueprints at all. You're not gonna be getting blueprints. It's only epics, because at this point you already have the car at 6 stars. So you're gonna be hunting for the 16 epics, and you can see that the drop rate, I put a minus sign over there, meaning the drop rates over here are very bad. Now, still, let's consider that you need 16 epics. It's not just you're grinding for 70 epics or anything like that. 16 epics. So it's a bit of a tough one, definitely, because the drop rate is very low, but it's definitely doable. And on top of that, you can see that the credits that you get in this particular station, the last one, it's either 7,500 credits or 15,000 credits per credit drop on the packs. So this is a fantastic stage that you're going to be grinding it a lot in order to get those epics. It's a lot of grind for sure. But on the bright side, you are going to be also simultaneously grinding for credits. And remember, credits are very important because you need to gold this car, and you need, oh boy, a ton of credits. In fact, let's talk a little bit about the drop rates. Now, like I said over here, I show you the drop rates just with some symbols and whatnot, just to give you an idea that the drop rate increases, but you know, this is not necessarily super accurate. Again, it's just a visual aid to give you an idea that the drop rate does improve. But talking about the actual numbers, here's the thing. I'm gonna use the drop rates for the previous hunt, which was for the Porsche 935, and I'm gonna believe that they're gonna be similar to this. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, because they are what they are. So yeah, these are the drop rates. On stage 1, your drop rate is gonna be of 7.84%, which is along the lines of the regular car hunts before they got nerfed to 5%. You know, that's a completely different topic. But yeah, about the normal drop rate that you would get in a regular car hunt. And again, remember, you don't need a ton of blueprints. It's only, what, 40 or so? So you'll be fine. In stage 2, you can see already a jump at almost 10%. So that means that 1 out of 10 packs that you get, almost 1 out of 10 packs is going to be getting, going to be giving you a blueprint. So that's already pretty dope. Again, obviously, it's random, so keep that in mind. Stage 3, it's at 11.76%. Stage 4 at 13.72, and Stage 5 it's the particular one. The drop rate is of 15% to get the drops. Now, like I mentioned, once you get the drop, it's gonna be of 2 blueprints. So that's why I say, in a way, you could even consider this almost like the drop rate is 30% if you want to look at it that way. Either way, the point is that the drop rate is really good and the drops are really good. But you can see that I added a 1% with an asterisk right next to it. This is for the epic import parts, because in Stage 5, you can get also epics for the car. It's not only the blueprints. Let me hide this, and there it is. So you can get either the 2 blueprints over here, as I mentioned, or 1 epic. But again, consider that the epics is gonna have a super low drop rate of 1%. I mean, there's still a chance that you're gonna be getting 1 or 2 or 3, who knows, over the time that you're grinding for that stage for the blueprints, but still. And finally, Stage 6 has a double the drop rate for the epic at 2%. So it's still gonna be very, very tough for you to get those epics. Keep that in mind. Again, I put the asterisk you see at the bottom that I put that means epic import part, just so that it's clear what I'm talking about. So again, the way that this works is that the first stage is gonna be relatively easy. The second stage is gonna be a tiny bit harder. The stage 3 is gonna be a tiny bit harder, only because of the increment of blueprints required. Stage 4, a little bit harder. Stage 5 is really easy. And stage 6, it's incredibly difficult. But again, let's remember, it's in stage 6 where you're gonna be able to grind for a lot of credits. So yeah, this matters a lot, because now we need to talk about the totals that you're gonna need over here. And here they are. You're gonna need a total of 300 blueprints in order to get the car from 0 blueprints to 6 stars, plus 16 epics and 42.5 million credits. Yep, it is a little bit of credits, so keep that in mind. Now, actually, I don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell you guys, so I let you know usually when I'm doing the patch notes reviews, when there's going to be a special hunt, I tell you, hey, you're going to need this many credits, start saving. In fact, all right, let me show you. Now, this I'm going to show you now, it's an excerpt from the Phantom Riders patch note video that I did, and it has this specific chapter called the Special Hunt Save Credits. We get a repeat of the Ultima RS Special Hunt. That's right, Ultima RS Special Hunt, running from the 7th of November till the 21st. The Ultima RS marks a return for a special hunt. Guys, save your credits. You're gonna need 42 million credits to max out this car. I try to always give you what you call it? Not a shout out, to give you a heads up about this, because I don't want people to be, when this event begins, be like, oh my god, how am I gonna get 42 millions? This is why I'm telling you, you need to start saving already. So yeah, sorry to be the I told you so, but all right, so yeah, it's a lot of requirements. Again, it needs a ton of credits, but actually, in case you're wondering, but DVT, I don't have the credits to do this, and sadly, I did not listen to your advice, your wise advice, when you told me to save credits. All right, do not panic. If you grind this hard enough, you're gonna be able to get the 42.5 million credits that you need throughout this event. Now, it needs a lot of grinding, but it is doable. So much so that I made some videos precisely when there was the Rematch Nevera Time Attack hunt, where I made a case, or specifically I showed you how I started with a certain amount of credits when the hunt started, and towards the end, I still had enough credits, and I had already golded the car, because you can just grind enough throughout these 2 weeks that this event is going to be running. It will require a crazy amount of dedication, and I understand that not everybody has the time to do this, so that's fair enough. But just keep that in mind. If you're really committed to it, you can actually get to do it. Now, one quick mention that I wanted to make over here when it comes to the races themselves is that fortunately, we no longer have the super long races. I think it was on the Nevera Time Attack that the races were the 90-second variant. So each race that you needed to do was the 90 seconds, so it's gonna take a lot of time. This time it seems that all of these races are shorter. While I don't get to see all of the races, I do get to see the requirements. And you can see that over here, the requirement is 40 seconds. Just a random race over here is gonna be 40-something seconds. Let's go once again to the one that you're gonna be grinding the most, 40-something seconds, right? So at the very least, it's not the 90-second variants. It seems to me that these are the 60-second variants, and with a car upgraded, you probably will be able to beat these times with no problem. So you should be fine. So at the very least, this hunt is not insanely bad. Thanks to that, I appreciate that, Game Love. Thank you, because it was such a pain in the rear side trying to do the Nevera Time Attack with the 90-second races. Jesus, that was absolutely terrible. Another thing that I want to talk about is the overclock trick. If you're not aware, normally when there is a special hunt, you can overclock the car. And what it means is that it's going to provide you a certain amount of additional rank, in this case 127 additional rank. What does that mean and why does that matter? Well, because remember that you need the car at the very least at the gold rank of 4644. But if you don't have the car at gold, you can overclock this car, and hopefully this 127 additional rank will be enough to take you over this rank. In fact, the specific number that you're looking for is 4517 rank, plus 127 is gonna give you 4644. So in practice, what this means is that you're still gonna need to grind for the epics of this car for sure, but even if you don't manage to get all of them, so long as you get at a rank of 4517, then you overclock and you're gonna have enough to guarantee getting the key. However, big thing that changed last time in the last hunt. This event it lasts 2 weeks, so that means it's gonna be part of the current season and part in the next season. And in the next season, it is not guaranteed that this car will be overclockable. It may not be overclockable. And what that means is that if you're thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do the trick of the overclock to get the key, if it's not overclockable next season, you're gonna be out of luck. So you have two options. One, grind for the epics and make sure to gold it, or the other option is towards the end of this current season, if you have enough, spend 105 overclock chips to overclock it for 7 days. That gives you an entire week of overclock time. So even if the car is not overclockable next season, because you already did it before this current season, and that is still gonna remain overclocked for this additional days. So you're gonna be able to still do it, but at the price of 105 overclock chips. I know, chips? So it's gonna be kind of expensive in that sense, but hey, you may wanna do it if you're fearing that you're not gonna have enough time to grind it, to get it to gold, but maybe if you get enough epics. How many epics do you need? Honestly, I don't know, unfortunately, because I have my car gold in both accounts, but still, it's probably like with half the epics will be more than enough. But again, I don't have the exact numbers over here. Now, let's talk about the grinding. Now, I say this and don't mind my game crashing on me, it just does that sometimes. But anyway, as I was saying, I always mention this in every single one of these videos when I'm talking about special hunts, in the fact that some people tell me in the comments sometimes, like, DBT, I just don't have the time to grind this. Why should I be doing this? Well, that's fair. I understand that not everybody has the time to be doing something like this, because this does require a crazy amount of commitment in order to get the car from 0 to gold in these 2 weeks. It's gonna need approximately something like 5, 6, maybe even 700 races in total in order to get this done. Now, considering that that's spread amongst or between 14 days, well, you know, that means about 50, maybe 60 races per day or something like that. It really depends, obviously, on your luck and whatnot. But it's a crazy amount of grind, definitely. And if you don't have the time to do it, well, yep, well, it is what it is, you know. As I always say, in this type of games, the free-to-play mobile games, pay-to-win and all of that, you either pay with money or you pay with time. So if you don't have the time to do it, then you can always spend some money in spending your tokens and buying packs for this thing in order to speed up the process. If you don't have money but you have a lot of time, then you can grind this event and get it 100% for free, because it is 100% doable free to play. Now, if you have neither time nor money, then unfortunately this game is not really for you, at least not this hunt. So fair play, so yeah, keep that in mind. Again, I understand that some people just don't have the time to do that, and that's completely understandable. But again, we need to understand what type of game it is that we're playing, what kind of things this type of games do. So yeah, there is that. So just wanted to make this video again talking about the Ultima RS to give you all of the information that you needed in terms of the blueprints, the epics, the credits, the strategies, the breakdown and everything. Let me know if this is useful to you. If you like this video, again, like, subscribe. If you would like to support me directly, consider joining the Pro membership for access to exclusive videos without the bleeps and with facecam and all of that stuff. It's fun stuff. But alright, that's gonna do it for this video. Once again, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.